Hello everyone, I'm Ben Coleman, your anchor host for the Florida Aviation Network, coming to you literally live and in the clear here at Sun and Fun number 52, red, white, and blue 52. We have an opportunity today. I just happened to find this guy walking around and I asked him, what do you do for a living? And he said,
I'm a Royal Canadian Air Force F-18 pilot doing the NORAD intercept display.
Actually, the only reason I stopped him was to compliment him on his hairdo. And we're going to have some fun. Buka.
Nice to meet you.
You as well. Buka, I'm Ben, and thanks for your time here sharing with our viewing audience what's going to happen today. And it's very, very unusual to be able to get a demonstration of what it's like to be intercepted when you are in some place you're not supposed to be, and what you need to do, what you must do in order to prevent a calamity happening. And because you guys don't want this as much as we don't want this.
That's 100% correct. Most times that pilots, general aviation pilots, end up in a TFR, it's usually by accident. It's rarely on purpose. So what we're trying to do here is to take that book information from the AIM and translate it to what you're going to see and what you're going to hear if you by chance penetrate a TFR, which is also a temporary flight restriction.
And the AIM, we all know affectionately as the Airman, which used to be the Airman, but now it's the Aeronautical Information Manual. Get to know that one well. We have a very, very friendly insect out here with us today.
That's the joys of being in Florida. When it's not the heat, it's the bugs.
By the way, you are a Lieutenant Colonel with the Royal Canadian Air Force.
That is correct. 36 years with the Royal Canadian Air Force. I started off flying...
I was going to pop in for you, but that's it.
Started flying off T-33s, and then I did almost 3,300 hours in the F-18. I'm currently stationed at the NORAD headquarters in Colorado Springs, and I'm fortunate to be part of our Operational Support Aircraft Program, or OSAP, and we do the training for the Alert Force fighters on how to intercept general aviation airplanes inside, outside TFR.
And there's a way to do it safely and a way to do it unsafely, and I don't want to really expand or collaborate too much on the unsafe method, but are you guys literally prepared when you have an interdiction that we don't want to think about the possibility, but we have to talk about it, or else it's just not going to happen? But what are you guys? You're waiting for a pickle. Somebody is watching all of this go on, and they're giving you, do we or don't we? What are your cues of when we start slow, we get more involved, more aggressive, it's not working? What happens then?
So the first thing that we want to do is we want to get radio contact with the pilot. So there could be something wrong with the airplane, the pilot could be incapacitated, or some other reason that they're not talking to air traffic control. So the first step is to get radio contact, and that's the easiest thing to do. Hey, you're in the wrong place, turn around, and then it's done. But if for whatever reason the radio contact doesn't happen, then the armed fighters, so all the fighters that are on alert throughout North America, armed fighters will roll up on the wing of the airplane. Most GA pilots don't expect that and don't know really what's happening when an armed F-16 like you have in the background here rolls up on your wing. Typically you'll hear the airplane because the jet motors are extremely loud, so you'll hear something like, wow, that doesn't seem right. And instead of looking out front, you'll look off to your left wing and you'll see an armed fighter there. And he or she is still trying to get radio contact with you. And if that still doesn't happen, then they're going to move up in front of you so that you can see them. And then they're going to turn away. It's called a guide maneuver. So you're supposed to follow the fighter, which is written in the AIM. All these processes are written in the AIM. So when he rocks his wings and turns away, you're supposed to follow him. Now, what often pilots don't know is there's more than one F-16 or F-15 or F-35 or F-18 there. There are always two, so there's one behind. So if you don't follow that F-16 or that fighter the first time, then it steps up a little bit. So that airplane will come back to your wing, and they'll rock their wings again, pull out in front of you, and then they'll turn in front of you up in the windscreen. So you will hear them, you will see them, and they are authorized most times to drop flares. So these are bright pieces of metal that are burning, and you will see them, guaranteed, unless there's something wrong with like a medical or something like that. So you'll see the flares. Again, the same process. If you see that and you acknowledge it, and then you follow him and go to where he wants you or she wants you to go. And they'll guide you to hopefully to an airport close by. They'll take you out of the TFR, and then they'll guide you to land. And then, of course, it's the The extreme scenario that we talked about, if that still doesn't happen, and somebody in the chain, there's people making decisions all the way up to the Secretary of Defense or the Minister of National Defense in Canada that are making that decision if they think that airplane needs to be shot down.
And I'm fat, dumb, and happy, and I'm flying around in my little rocket champ. I don't have a radio. And so, I see these jets flying around, but yeah, these guys are just out spinning kerosene, turning it into noise, and still not doing it. Still not, and the flares, oh, that's pretty. How far out from the target, the protection target, and it's an interception before it's an interdiction. So we don't like to interdict, but in the fact that you have to, and I know we don't want to get too grisly with it. However, how close can the intruder get to the target before some really, really bad things are going to happen?
Well, that depends on the scenario, of course. The typical TFR is 30 miles out, so they'll often see, the radar, the FAA radars or the NORAD defense radars are tracking, and they'll notice that somebody's pointing directly to that TFR and they're not turning. So that's the 30-mile normal. So it depends on the scenario. It depends on what the assessment of the threat is. So there are other things out there that the decision makers are using to determine, like, hey, this guy's a threat. So really, we want that interdiction to happen as far away from the actual center point as possible, because we're protecting something that's vital or critical. Mm-hmm. So we want to give the commanders and the decision makers as much time to make that proper decision, because when you say go, launch missiles, that's a big deal. Yep. There's a lot of things that go into that decision, and NORAD and Northcom don't take that decision lightly. So the answer to your question is as far away as possible, as long as we have the most information that's available. You're going to take somebody's life.
Yep.
And like you said, we don't want to do that, and we try to do everything in our power to make that decision informed and timely.
And again, Buko, we talk about this kind of flippantly, like it just came up, but this is the procedures and the process has been in place for quite a long time.
It has, since 9/11, and especially it's important here in Florida with the administration moving back and forth between Florida, Mar-a-Lago, D.C., and these temporary flight restrictions. We try to give as much notice ahead of time that a temporary flight restriction is active, and then we have the tools like ForeFlight, iPads. We have those tools that display those TFRs, mm-hmm. But it brings another point that it's really important for all pilots, every single pilot, every time you fly, is you check your NOTAMs. Every single time you fly, because one could come up 8 hours prior and you check the weather and the NOTAMs the night before and you go, oh yeah, everything's good. I'm going to get in my champ and without my radio and off I go. It was good last night. Well, today it's not good because, some emergency, or not emergency, but unforecasted or unscheduled travel, baseball events, football events, they put up TFRs around those as well. So it's extremely important. I can't emphasize that enough. Extremely important. Check your NOTAMs.
And know what they mean, and don't get lost. And there's a lot of interpretation. AOP does a great job of breaking it down, and put it in layman terms. Do this, don't do that. But and everyone should be in the habit. I'm glad you mentioned that. I live on an airport. I have a champ, and I won't go up and just go burn some gas until I call and check the flight service. Hey, anything active over this way? No, we're clear.
That's perfect. And you should do that with every flight. Doesn't matter if it's at your local airport or you're just going for lunch, a couple, 30, 40 miles away. You got to make sure that there's nothing in between you and where you're going. It's for your safety. It's for the people on the ground safety. It's for everybody's safety. So really, it's really important.
That $300 hamburger could very easily turn out being a life-ending hamburger. And we don't want to see that happen. Everybody loses when that happens. But so if you want to go take somebody out to see Mar-a-Lago, pull up a video, okay? There's plenty of stuff on the internet of Mar-a-Lago. Don't fly over Disney World. Same deal. People like to fly over Disney until Disney was successfully getting a restriction put over there for that very reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And one more thing that I was going to add, so after you've been guided to land and that kind of stuff to whatever airport, it has not turned catastrophic. You're going to be met on the ground by law enforcement, whether that's federal, local sheriffs, state police. You're going to have somebody meet you, and it's going to add a few hours to your day if you ever get back in your airplane again.
You're going to make some new friends.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you may not get your airplane back. You may lose your license. There could be some hefty fines. And typically, if somebody ends up in a TFR and they have a fighter rolled up on their wing with flares and stuff, they probably don't do it again. So, but you're going to be on a list. FAA is going to know who you are, and you make another mistake down the road, that could have serious consequences for your flying career.
It's a life-altering event, and we don't want to see that happen, but that's, again, the reason I really appreciate you guys going to the effort to do this. And this is your personal Navajo in the background here.
Not quite my personal one, but it is owned by the Air Force. The U.S. Air Force owns it, so thankfully I don't have to pay to maintain it or put fuel in it nowadays. But yeah, I fly on behalf of the government, the U.S. government and the Canadian government, and they provide us this airplane to make sure that our alert pilots are trained to the best ability that we can. They are extremely professional. They know what they're doing. They're going to do what they need to keep you safe, but they're also going to do it safely, not to put you in danger in the air as well. So that's our job, is to train them to the best that we can, to the best of their abilities, and that keeps everybody safe and out of trouble.
And out of trouble. That's a big thing. Yeah. Nobody likes trouble. Well, I know some guys that, we won't go there.
Right.
But the Abuka, I can't talk about what's going on in the cockpit of the jets, but I know what's going on in the cockpit of this booger. And is it 49 or 52% or inches of takeoff?
43.
43 inches on this. This is the coal mill.
Yep.
Anyway, you boost a lot of power. And the little fella, this has got the coal mill conversion, the Panther conversion on it. And the acceleration from a GA pilot standpoint, it's kind of fun.
When those turbochargers kick in, you can hear it, you can feel it, and it's a beautiful airplane to fly. I like it being an F-18 guy because it's a little bit heavier. The air speeds are a little bit faster, and I'm more comfortable at a higher speed than I am at the slow speeds, and certainly a single engine.
Have you flown one of these at night?
I have, yeah. Yeah, it's nice. The autopilot on this one's fantastic. It handles, if you're not going to use the autopilot, if you're hand flying it, it's very smooth. Yeah, very smooth, very stable. A lot more work in the cockpit from what I'm used to with the F-18. You jam the throttle and everything happens, but this one's got all kinds of levers and buttons and.
Yeah, it's got more than the go stop button or a lever on it. But right. And at night, I was just going to bring up the fun thing, really, really fun, is leaning the aircraft at night. Yeah. You look in the left or engine number 1 through the cooling vanes, and you see the turbocharger, and you adjust your fuel mixture to the glow of cherry red that you like to see.
I'm not that advanced at it yet. I'm still looking at the EGT or the TIT gauges in there to make sure that I'm not overheating anything. But I have looked over, and I'm like, you know what? That's not normal. But it is normal. But to me, yeah, it's not normal.
That looks hot.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely.
But and I really applaud you for hopping in, because a lot of folks they're scared to death of GA airplanes, even though they might have cut their teeth. But you've been flying the kerosene burners, the jets, for so long. It really is a step back into, wow, there's a lot going on here that I've got to remember. Yeah. A lot of memory items. I mean, you got a checklist, but single pilot, you got to do it.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of stuff going on in here that you don't normally think about in a fighter. So not only you're flying the airplane, but you're managing the systems as well. So I find it challenging, but I really enjoy flying the Navajo. I fly the Baron as well, so I really enjoy the GA. It's real piloting.
We're going to be watching, and we're going to try to spread this information to as many folks as we can in the field and the world, for that matter. And thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be out here at Sun and Fun, and to show the general aviators what not to do, or if you make a mistake, everybody makes mistakes, this is what you can expect, and we want you to be safe.
And Buka, as we leave, welcome to Florida, by the way. This is not your first time to Florida, is it?
Correct, no.
But hopefully all that will come off in one peel, and you can put it on your map as far as, this is my trip to Florida, Sun and Fun 52.
That's why sunscreen's so important. Check your NOTAMs and put on sunscreen.
Exactly. Okay, thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure, thank you.
And Ben Coleman with your Florida Aviation Network. We're going to sign out at this point and turn you on to some more airshow stuff. You guys fly safe, be safe, pay attention to your resources.